Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Charlie. Today, we're going to be doing some more Am I the Asshole? Wedding stories. Some serious wedding disasters. If you haven't been here before, please consider liking and subscribing, or wait until later on in the video if you feel like you like it or not. Let's get to it. Am I the asshole for trying to dictate who my fiance will walk with as a groomsman on his best friend's wedding? Fake names and context. My fiance Paul has a best friend Jack. Jack has been with his fiance Natalie for 7 years. Paul and I have been together for 6. Okay. Natalie always had a weird obsession of hooking up Paul and her sister Mary and setting them up as a couple. Paul was never interested in Mary, but Natalie and Mary always tried to grab his attention. After Paul and I got together, Natalie would always try to exclude me from every single group gathering and would even try to set up double dates between her, Jack, Paul, and Mary. Paul wouldn't have it and set boundaries early on, but neither Mary nor Natalie respected them and kept crossing boundaries. Paul then had to cut them off and only kept contact with Jack. After some years of no contact, Natalie apologized to Paul and me about her behavior and promised it's all in the past and that her and Mary acted immaturely, and Mary has moved on as well. As grown adults, we decided to move on, but Paul kept feeling uncomfortable around Mary because she hadn't completely changed her behavior around him. Anyway, fast forward to the wedding, which is in a couple of months. Jack asked Paul to be his groomsman, and Paul happily accepted. It wasn't until now that Natalie said that Paul will walk down the aisle with Mary, to which Paul refused. He listed all of the reasons on why he doesn't want to. I was also against it because Mary has indeed not changed, and neither I nor Paul are comfortable with that setting. After some back and forth, Natalie called me and begged me to convince Paul and said, "Please don't act insecure about this. You know how important a wedding is to a bride. Don't ruin this for me." To which I replied that I understand the importance of her wedding, but mine and Paul's discomfort is more important to us than her wedding. I said, "You could literally pick any other girl for Paul to walk with, yet you picked Mary. How convenient." After some continuous back and forth, Natalie and Jack tried to convince Paul to accept Mary in this occasion, to which he said no, and if it's such a deal breaker, then he's stepping down as groomsman. Anyway, now Natalie and her family are accusing me and Paul of trying to dictate what they will do at their wedding, and say we are the ones who are overstepping. Well, it sounds like they need to go no contact with everyone, as hard as that is, and how much it's probably gonna suck. Because losing your best friend, especially because they're a whole other side is acting crazy, yeah, that's a note for me, dog. Reddit deemed this person not the a-hole, which is great because they aren't. Your wedding is important to you. It's not as important to everybody else as it is to you. Am I the asshole for referring to my husband as my biggest and strongest love in my wedding speech? I don't see how you could be an asshole in any way. But let's dive into what they're talking about. I, 25 female, got married last week to my husband, 25 male, whom I've been with since we were 18. We started off as friends, but it grew into a beautiful partnership. He's the most understanding and supportive person in my life, and one of the biggest priorities, as I am his. Oh, how sweet. As it should be. I also have this group of friends since high school. I'll give them fake names for the sake of the post. It's Rainia, Mary, and Becky. Ever since I started dating my husband, they've always tried to make our friendship versus my relationship into a competition on which is more important to me, to which I've always replied that I don't like comparing and putting hierarchy on that stuff because each relationship serves a different purpose on my life. I adore my friends and they've been extremely supportive, yet I'm not as close to them as I have been to my husband. But I still think it's wrong to go to their face and compare the love I have for each of them. Our families also have this concept of family always comes first, and while our families do love each other, at some points they throw in their true perspective of how his family considers me an outsider and my family considers him an outsider, and would guilt us into putting them over our partner. All in all, people in our lives always try to make our relationship an importance competition while we never put each other in that position. Because you guys are mature, healthy individuals. So at our wedding reception, during our speeches, he called me his greatest love, and I called him the most important person in my life and my greatest love, to which our families and my friends took great offense. We've been bombarded with guilt-tripping words from our families of how wrong it is for us to put each other first and consider each other the most important person, and tossing our families to the side. And my friends said how harmful it is for me to lie for so long about not wanting to put hierarchy and compare the loves I have for friends, partner, family, just to publicly announce how my husband is my greatest love. Maybe I am the asshole for putting that part in my speech because it hurt people around me and caused offense and controversy. Girl, no. I don't understand why everyone around you is in competition with each other. That's crazy to me. You're not an asshole at all. 0%. And let's figure out what Reddit decided. Not the asshole. Of course not. I want to say, like, go low contact with people, but I feel like going low contact with people might help put it in their heads that, hey, I don't play this game. And your husband is your most important person in your life anyway, so they can be offended all they want. The truth is the truth. They have some serious awakenings to do. Let's put it that way. Am I the asshole for refusing to sit next to a picture of my late husband and telling my daughter I will not be going to her wedding if that is her plan? After some time, I remarried, but my daughter doesn't get along with my new husband. They have a strained relationship, and I married him while she was in college. She has hated that I have remarried and is kinda a dick to my husband. My daughter is getting married soon, and while I'm excited for her, I've had some concerns about how she's planning the wedding. She mentioned wanting to include a picture of my late husband at the ceremony, which I completely understand as a way to honor him. However, she also wants me to sit next to his picture during the ceremony, and my husband would sit elsewhere. I told her that I'm not comfortable with that arrangement. I also learned she wanted to me sit with a picture at the family table. Okay, sorry, this little typo, but I also learned she wanted me to sit with a picture at the family table, and my husband wouldn't be sitting there either. I told her no. She got upset and said I was being selfish and disrespectful to her and her father's memory. I told her if that's her plan, I won't be able to attend the wedding. She called me a jerk, and now family is involved. Other than like comments, that was it for the story, and there's a lot missing. And if you didn't have a good relationship and he struggled with alcohol, I can only imagine what situations you were put in between yourself and him. And to not want to basically sit with a picture of him while your actual husband is like somewhere else, that's weird. And I get that that's her dad, but to you, like, that's your abuser, for a lack of better word. And maybe, hopefully, it sounds like he didn't do too many horrible things to your daughter, but it's all about perspective. But this is so short that there isn't much to it. So I hope that got resolved, and let's see what Reddit had to say. Not enough info. So this never got resolved. I don't know if this got resolved. I'll try and look for an update. This is our last story for this video. Am I the asshole for starting my wedding ceremony before my mom showed up? Moms are important people, but I feel like if this is the case, maybe she did something. The day of the wedding started as they normally do. I, bride, was getting inside, getting ready, and final touches were being made outside. After I was almost ready by noon, my mom had to run back to the hotel 20 minutes away to change and come back with my grandma and family friend. The invitation says ceremony at 2. As per usual, we were a little late starting, but nothing crazy. Next thing I know, I'm walking myself down the aisle with no mom, grandma, or family friend. Next thing I know, I'm walking myself down the aisle with no mom, grandma, or family friend in sight. The ceremony continues and it's over before we know it. Still nothing. After 45 minutes, they finally pull up. Then I proceed to go and tell them it's over and that they missed it and that 2 meant 2. My mother immediately became hostile and proceeded to blame the bakery for not having buns ready, then said they were stopped by a train, and my personal favorite was, "It's your fault you didn't call or text to see where we are." Excuse me? Again, the invitation said 2. Also note, the officiant also had another wedding to get to after mine, so it was a tight schedule. So, am I the asshole for not holding up my ceremony? Side note, I found out the real reason why they were late. She wasn't done getting herself ready, therefore holding up everyone. But she is mad at me because it's my fault. Your mother sounds awful. If it's a wedding, there are time constraints on most things, you know, like the photographer, catering, officiant. There's all sorts of variables. And normally you probably only have a venue for whatever you paid for is like X amount of time. So she can be mad at you all she wants, but she messed up. If you were so worried about being ready in time, wake up earlier. For weddings, when it says, hey, it starts at this time, that means it starts at that time. And if you're not there, you're not there. Reddit dubbed this OP not the asshole, and I don't think they are either. You gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm sorry that your mom is blaming you for what is clearly her bad, poor timing choices. Anyway, that's all for this video today. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts of any of the stories that we read today. What are you thinking? Or if you know of any updates, let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time for Am I the Asshole? Bye!